America comes together, we've made tremendous progress. 100 years ago, kids in classrooms were taught the color of their skin was their most important characteristic. And if they looked a certain way, they were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
Agree with that? And what do you make of his warning against fighting discrimination with more discrimination?
I believe that we need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to speak truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today.
My stunt double had a rebuttal to all of this. He did this sometimes back on the State of the Union with Jake Tapper dealing with another individual who believes the same thing. So we're gonna close out this segment with what my stunt double had to say.
Forward to the midterm pitch that the United States of America specializes in vilifying Black and brown people. I do not think that will work for Democrats.
They do.
Take it to the polls. Take it to the voters and enjoy.
No, we will take it to the polls, but the history of this country too. How many examples would you like me to give you about how this country specializes in that?
This is not a great. This is not a great
next year,
pitch.
16, 19. Next year, 1919, it'll be 400 years since the first Africans were brought to this continent as slaves. So it's not a pitch, it's a reality in this country. And the fact that you're taking such a cavalier attitude about the suffering of Black and brown people in this country is appalling. Are you trying to say that this country does not specialize in racism and bigotry?
I am saying that racism exists. I am saying that the United States of America.
But you have the luxury. You have the luxury to be cavalier about it. But people, my folks don't have the luxury of being cavalier about it.
Yeah, I mean, Frank, I'm telling you, I almost jumped across. That was as cool and calm and collected as I could stay.
The smug smile, the smug smile. But you see, this is the thing is that when you're on those programs, because all they're doing is looking at it through a dog and pony show. They're like, oh, it's the horse race. How is this gonna play? How is this not gonna play? And they're worried about how it's gonna play. And you're like, no, we're talking about people's lives. Exactly. Play all you want. People are dying from continued legacies of slavery. So are we gonna deal with that or not? And this is the whole thing with the third Reconstruction. This is what we're talking about is, look, there's a simple word. It begins with the letter R. It's reparations. Let's talk about it. I mean, if you really want to leave this behind, you don't ever want to talk about racism again. Let's talk about reparations. You don't want to talk about racism. Let's talk about reparations. Let's substitute one R for the other R. You hate the R word. Let's talk about reparations. Let's talk about finally doing right by formerly enslaved people and their descendants in this country. End of story. Then we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to talk about it.
There it is, Francesca. Y'all better take it from Francesca, baby. Francesca, the president, she done laid that out there just like that. But I was into that. Woo,
so good.
Some of the producers had to come down. They know I was hot that day. Oh Lord, have mercy on my soul. I'm having flashbacks about that moment. But yeah, that was that smug look, and